thinking something is going to pop out of a box and go, "Here you are! It's here! Enjoy it!"
How many years now have you been doing voice acting?
At this pace, it's been since about 2007. But I've been an actor for over 35 years.
So actor, stage, screen, and also musician too, right?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit. Singing, playing drums, play a little guitar. Not as much anymore. That's just not as much of my focus as acting and voiceover is. So, yeah.
So which came first, music?
Oh, music, absolutely. That was my first thing. And I still follow it. So I have, bands that I'm still interested in, some that are no longer around anymore, and that kind of thing. And I think a lot of people do that when they're getting started in the arts in general. They might start out as they were in the choir at their church, or they started painting, or they started doing this, and they kind of find other aspects of artistic expression that they find that they're better at than other things, even though they might love it. Because I know so many people that are not only great voice actors, they happen to be great designers, and they happen to be great singers, or they're great chefs, or they're really good with intricate, workings of like cars and things like that. So it's all artistic. It's just a different kind of art.
So what was your first acting experience? What was the first thing that sort of introduced you into going out and putting yourself out there as an actor?
Well, that just goes back to high school, and honestly, that was just in the right place at the wrong time. I was always interested in it, but but it was not until late in high school, and then you start getting that bug, and you start doing what the more experienced people tell you to do, which is start going to auditions for things. And then pretty soon you start booking stuff where people actually want to pay you to do stuff, that kind of thing. And it really goes from there. If you look at everybody comes from some aspect of performing. I was just seeing the videos the other day of everybody was talking about how cool the Oscars were when they were doing I'm Ken or whatever that song. Ryan Gosling. And they kept showing the dance video of him when he was like 10 or 12 at, some dance recital thing. But we all come from somewhere, something sparks us into that direction.
Well, are there any videos out there you think floating around somewhere of you performing?
Of myself? I do have some video of me somewhere around 18 or 19 doing something that had come off of, and I've just been gifted this about 3 or 4 years ago. It's something off of an old videotape that somebody had put on a DVD. So that's
a trip.
And anybody that's really young these days, cause it's really fortunate or unfortunate that they have these. They can record everything, every single moment of their life. So
possibly too much sometimes.
Too much, yeah. Mm-hmm. And once they start putting on the internet, it's out there. So, But it's amazing to me that stuff keeps cropping up on YouTube or these sites where they've got bootlegs of, Led Zeppelin playing Dallas in 1972 or whatever. I'm like, who's recording that? How did they do that? But I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you expressed, I was watching some of the other interviews, that you were a really big music fan of bands like Rush and
huge.
Band Halen.
Yeah.
Watching some of those old recordings that you hadn't seen before that you were collecting.
Yeah. I love music so much, and I got to see Rush twice in 83 and 82 or 83, and then in 2012. And the Van Halen guys I got to see in 1980 and 1982. And I've always been inspired by them, and just the way that they just work and try to make their sound better and develop stuff.
So your process, your journey into becoming a voice actor, and what was your aha moment that you maybe had found the thing that or have you found the thing? Feel like that's your.
I think I'm always looking for that aha thing. I think some people it's very clear when they have that aha thing. I think with me, I'm thinking something is going to pop out of a box and go, "Here you are, it's here, enjoy it." I don't know. You got to really grab those opportunities, or really try to enhance those opportunities the best you can.
There's the ups, the moments where you get that opportunity. There's also the downs, the struggles. You talked a bit about, I think, your struggle during COVID and just coping with that like we all were.
Yeah, sure.
What is the thing that you kind of hold on to get through those moments?
That's a really good question. During COVID, I noticed a lot of my artist friends really immerse themselves in themselves. And what I mean by that is they took the time to go, I've got nothing but time. I'm going to write more, I'm going to read more, I'm going to sing more, I'm going to work on my instrument more, I'm going to whatever. And I feel like a lot of us went the complete opposite, because we did not know what to do, because we didn't know how long this was going to be. And I wish that I had been a little more ignorance is bliss sort of thing. Oh, I'm just going to keep really working on my craft. Because I saw a lot of people come out of the pandemic even more talented than they were than before, because they were doing nothing but focusing on making themselves better. When it gets really difficult, I think it's important to remember what is really important to you, what is always going to be there for you, who is always going to be there for you. I saw this great interview it was a round table of Tom Hanks and Denzel Washington and all this, and it was fantastic. I don't even know what this was from, but the phrase "this too shall pass" was what he kept bringing up. He was saying, when something is really awesome and you're at the top of your game and you are cooking, this too shall pass. And then whenever stuff is down in the dumps and you're going, I'm not working the kind of things that I want to do, this too shall pass. He kept saying it doesn't matter if it's really a good or it's a really bad thing. It's those moments that you have to live in and to live through them. I think it's just important to kind of remember those things. That I've had those times where things are just cooking, and it's really easy to get sucked into it. It's like, oh, this is great, man. This is gonna last. I have made it. That's my aha moment, and it's not. It's just a temporary thing. And then you have those times where you're going, what am I gonna do?
Well, let's talk about some of your voice acting roles. One of your longest running roles is Garp.
Mm-hmm.
How many episodes do you think you've done so far?
I do not know how many episodes Garp has actually been in. It doesn't come in until then. It's season 2 or 3.
Well, I remember you said that if you had it to do over again, you might have made some different choices about the voice, because it's actually a pretty challenging voice to do, like physically strain on your...
Yeah, it really... I think it was a nod to my ignorance.
So what would you do differently, though?
I don't really know. Because when I went into the studio, I didn't know that this was going to be such a recurring character. And the director and I at the time had talked about it, what he wanted him to sound like, or what the approach should be. And I gave him some options, and I came up with what I've done. As I was doing it, I was going, oh wow, this is really taxing on my voice. This is so it's really important to make choices that are sustainable. I don't know what I would do different, but I just know now that when I do him, I'm really conscious of what I'm doing, on how to create that sound, and I'm thinking about a lot of technique, a lot of vocal technique and support in the body, so as not to put so much stress and strain on the voice. But it's kind of like he's been sounding like that for so long. I don't know what I would do to make him sound different.
So what's the voice that's most different from him that you feel more relaxed in, maybe?
When I did Ancient Magus Bride, when I did Elias Ainsworth, when I did Mako and Fairy Tale, and there's been several others, those guys pretty much sound like me, which is interesting to me because it's not difficult, but I am still having to act a character, right? But I've been telling people they asked me what Elias Ainsworth sounds like, and I said, it pretty much sounds like me. I call it my living room voice.
Well, originally that wasn't going to be the case, right? I heard that you were toying around with the idea of a more British dialect.
Yeah, we talked about it.
Did you come up with anything?
I think at the time we experimented with some lines. They may or may not have been recorded. I don't know. But because we talked about this universe that they're in. They were in England, but he's not necessarily English. Shisei is not English, but they are in England. But he can time travel and he can do this and he can, So we could go anywhere we wanted to go. But that sound seemed to lie better for Elias. For me, and the director at the time was Kyle Phillips, and so that's where he ended up.
Yeah, personally, I think it came out pretty well. Have you ever listened to some of the Japanese?
Oh, sure.
How do you?
Yeah.
I feel like it is pretty comparable in listening to those, from my perspective.
I think it pays homage to the character, and because they've created that, and what we're doing is adding the English translation of what they've created, but we're still going to make our own kind of acting choices and things like that. But it's always nice to hear what the Japanese dub is, so you can go, oh, okay, I can hear this kind of edge in their voice or this kind of intention in their voice, and you go, all right, I'm gonna try and go with that. With when I was cast in Natsume's Book of Friends, we were listening to the Japanese, and he's so wacky. He's so wacky. I had no idea what he's saying except for what the English translation is. So it just gave me ideas of okay, well, Chukyu A, he's gonna sound like, he's gonna be up here, and he's gonna have kind of a sing-songy sound. I'm gonna talk like this, and I'm gonna sing when I am talking, and that sort of thing. So I got to go completely in another part of my voice, and also I could sound a little bit more like the Japanese actor, although that's not always the intent. But it was the flavor of what he had done, and where the character was going. So, yeah.
Last question: if you could go back and give advice to a younger version of yourself, what would you say?
Strike while the iron is hot. Absorb more information from everybody as much as you can and apply it. And go for broke right now. Why are you waiting? What are you waiting for?
Thank you for watching Anime Diet. Be sure to smash that like and subscribe button for more tasty treats.